express my full confidence that you will continue to do your work in 2024 even better than you did in 2023. I have no complaints on what you did in 2023. There's the occasional story, the mischievous headline, but we enjoy it. हमें भी वो मौका देती है कि हम आपको अपनी दिल की बात आपके सामने रख पाए. But I think this is a very important interactive platform, क्योंकि सही मायने में जो भी पिछले वर्ष माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की इंस्पायरिंग लीडरशिप में पेट्रोलियम और नेचुरल गैस सेक्टर में काम हुआ है, मैं उसके बारे कुछ आंकड़े जो हैं आपके सामने रखना चाहूंगा. नॉट टू गिव यू दी ओवरऑल रिपोर्ट कार्ड, बट विद अ व्यू टू इंडिकेटिंग कि अगले 12 महीने में हमारा क्या इरादा है. मैं तो आपको एक समरी फॉर्म में आई प्लेस सम फैक्ट्स बिफोर यू, बट आई एम श्योर माय मीडिया टीम वो एज वी स्पीक दे विल बी hopefully sending the detailed statistics onto your smartphones, and if there are any questions, but I don't plan to speak for more than a few minutes. I would rather that we have an interactive exchange. The first proposition I want to place before you is that the economy, and this is not a proposition, this is a statement of fact, in the quarters April, May, June, July, August, September, and September, October, November, December, the economy has been firing off all 6 cylinders. Now, for पहले 6 महीने में the figures were 7.7% or thereabouts. When the figures for the third quarter come in, I am very confident they will also look well. But the essential concomitant of that is कि economy is doing well. Naturally, the energy and the energy sector with which I am associated, there on all fronts we have done very well. Let me start with the basics. मोदी जी का जो भारत है, it is the only country in the world जहाँ पे in spite of all the difficulties that have been there on the global front, prices of energy at the retail point have actually come down. ये पार्लियामेंट में भी सवाल हुए इस चीज पे, मैंने वहां पे भी जवाब दिया है. अभी हमारे जो दक्षिण एशिया के आसपास के हमारे जो पड़ोसी दो देश हैं, वहां पे कहीं 40% बढ़ा है, कहीं 80% पेट्रोल और डीजल के दाम बढ़े. इफ यू लुक एट दी वेस्टर्न इंडस्ट्रियलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड, वहां पे भी प्राइसेस हैव गॉन अप. आई हैव गिवन कंट्री वाइज लिस्टिंग. हियर प्राइसेस हैव एक्चुअली कम डाउन. व्हाई हैव वी बीन एबल टू डू इट? आई थिंक वेरी फार साइटेड एंड विजनरी लीडरशिप. Central excise duty reduction on two occasions, November 2021, May 2022, and we carried that into 2023. We are today the third largest energy consumer in the world. We are today the third largest consumer of oil, third largest LPG consumer, fourth largest LNG importer, fourth largest refiner, and fourth largest automobile market in the world. This I am giving you these statistics only, but where are we going from here? Refiners के बारे में मैंने बोला कि हम fourth largest है. हमारी जो refining capacity थी 252 million metric tons per annum, we are taking it up to 300, 350 and even 400 and beyond. And that's work in progress as we speak. Our crude oil consumption, I think our refiners do what? 5 million barrels per day. I see this steadily increasing as we go ahead. But even as our consumption is going up, as we have ensured availability, affordability and transitioning sustainability, we have also done very good work in the E&P sector. अभी आपसे इस बैठक के पहले we had a round where we launched OALP-IX and Coal Bed Methane round, special round also. And आपको मैं याद दिलवाना चाहता हूं कि जब पिछले साल माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिया कि out of the 3.5 million square kilometers of sedimentary basin that we have, we decided to free 1 million square kilometers. बहुत होता है, अगर 3.5 में 1%, 1 million square kilometer और निकालना, efforts were made in the past, they were not successful. But this year, thanks to the efforts made by the ministry, by the secretary, with the collaboration of all the other government departments, कि जहाँ भी security concerns थे, कोई कहता था कि ये इस area में आता है, कोई we have freed up. But the more important thing is, पहले हमारा area under exploration 6% था. With what we have done now, we are taking it up to 16%. And that 16% figure we will reach by December of 2024. It's a very big thing in a year and a half to move from 6% to 16%. In the figures that will come out, you will be given the details of what we have done in the special CBM round. Some of the other overall steps I have already mentioned to you. India's exploration acreage to 0.5 million square kilometers by 2025 and 1 million square kilometers by 2030. No-go areas have been reduced by almost 99%. 10 lakh square kilometers areas now free in the EEZ for E&P activities. As on date, total operational area active under nomination, pre-NLP, NELP, CBM, DSF and OALP help is 3.27 lakh square kilometers. There are certain other reforms we carried out. Crude oil deregulation, June 2022 earlier, reduction in natural gas flaring, 2.7% to 2% during the last 2 years. We moved to model revenue sharing contracts. Over 50 amendments have been made to MRRC. Revised domestic gas pricing guidelines based on 10% of Indian crude basket. We did that April last year. National data repository, you know what? Several MNCs like Chevron, ExxonMobil, Total Energies, they are showing keen interest to invest in the Indian E&P segment and have purchased data from the National Data Repository. Exclusive Economic Zone data acquisition, 80,000 lakh kilometers, 2D seismic data up to EEZ. All these details I'm going to give you. But another important requirement is कि जहाँ पे भी हमारे operators हों, उनके साथ जो disputes होती हैं, they should be amicably resolved. 50 disputes with various E&P companies have been resolved during the last 1 year. We have resolved small operator issues such as PSC extension of 10 years. We have launched the OALP-IX Bid Round. Now I want to come to one of my favorite areas, which is the transitioning. देखिए 2014 में जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दायित्व संभाला, उस समय हमारी biofuel blending was around 1.4%. Some people tell me it's slightly higher, 1.5, 1.6. But of all the estimates I've gone, see there's nothing beyond 1.7%. I think it's more 1.4 to 1.5. We had a target of 10% blending by November 2022. 23 or 22? 22. We did that 5 months in advance. Then we had a target of 20% blending by 2030. We brought that target forward to 2025. आप पीछे आपने कई कहानियां सुनी, आपने कुछ कहानियों को एग्जैजरेट भी किया कि यहाँ से फीड सप्लाई बंद होगी, वहाँ से वो हो गया, सारा प्रोग्राम इज गोइंग टू बिकम वल्नरेबल. लेट मी टेल यू, yes, when you do a large scale transitioning like this and you are using diverse feeds, there are challenges, but we've not only met all those challenges, we met our 12% blending target, which was October 23, and we are well on our way to achieving the 20% target by end of 2025 instead of 2023. OMCs have provided additional incentive of 9 rupees 72 per litre. Total they are paying ex-mill is 66 rupees 7 paise to encourage ethanol supplies from maize, apart from allowing conversion from FCI rice and DFG to maize. Maize has been one of the more encouraging story. If you have questions on that, I will request Secretary to answer. We have announced a rupees 6.87 per litre incentive for ethanol produced from C-heavy molasses. ये अभी कोई 3-4 दिन पहले, 5 दिन पहले हमने किया. Now the key achievements I want to give you overall, and then we can go on to other things. The foreign exchange we've saved as a result of this blending from 2014 to 2023 end is 78,118 crores. CO2 emissions lowered during that period 426 lakh MT. Crude oil substitution achieved 142 lakh MT. Amount paid to distillers by OMCs during this period 1,15,623 crores. And as a result of which, amount paid to farmers during this period 69,374. The point I have been stressing all along is that this is a unique program, and one that is very strongly supportive of the economy overall, because as we go down the green transitioning route, we are also compensating our farmers. And at a time when the farming sector faces a number of challenges, I think this is a solid support. And as we go to 20% blending, मुझे अभी exact figure याद नहीं है, पर जब हमने 10% ब्लेंडिंग पे जो हमारे इंपोर्ट्स बिल था, वो कोई शायद 41,000 करोड़ हमने बचाया था 10%. तो इट स्टैंड्स टू रीजन, एंड डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट द वर्ल्ड प्राइसेस आर, जब आप 20% ब्लेंडिंग करेंगे तो यू नो हाउ मच मोर, एंड दैट विल बी पेड टू आवर फार्मर्स फॉर द डाइवर्स फीड स्टॉक्स. हमारी जो एथेनॉल सप्लाई ईयर होता है ESY 2022-23 में saved approximately 509 crore liters of petrol. अच्छा, और जो मैंने अभी आपको बाकी दे दिया फिगर्स, कितने CO2 emissions etc. बचे, we have been able to save. Number of retail outlets that are selling E20 or blended fuel has now gone up to 9,300. अब मैं आपको याद करवाना चाहता हूँ कि E20 blended fuel हमने इंट्रोड्यूस किया था February of 2023. मुझे याद है जब इंडिया एनर्जी वीक बेंगलुरु में हम मना रहे थे, उस समय हमने E20 ब्लेंडिंग फ्यूल की अनाउंसमेंट माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने की थी फरवरी में, और आज एंड ऑफ 2023 में वी हैव ऑलरेडी हैड 9,300 रिटेल आउटलेट्स व्हिच आर मेकिंग E20 फ्यूल अवेलेबल. द अदर गुड न्यूज इज, देखिए ये जो 20% ब्लेंडिंग वाली बात है, दिस वाज अ मेंटल ब्लॉक वी हैड. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी वर टोल्ड कि अगर 20% आप ब्लेंडेड फ्यूल यूज करेंगे तो द ऑटोमोबाइल्स डोंट नीड एनी चेंज इन स्पेयर इन पार्ट्स. बट यू नो, as the capacity to blend increased, as the production of ethanol from the diverse feeds increased, the automobile manufacturers are also on board. I remember I had invited, I think my Brazilian counterpart, and he came with a delegation of automobile manufacturers, and these are the same manufacturers whose models sell here, and the message was that if they can sell there, they can sell here. So now you also have cars coming on the Indian market slowly but surely, which will be able to use blends of over 20%. I want to briefly touch on SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. आपको याद होगा नवंबर 2023 में जो हमारी नेशनल बायोफ्यूल्स कोऑर्डिनेटिंग कमेटी है NBCC, in one meeting we decided कि 1% SAF indicative blending target by 2027 for international flights, 2% by 2028, and CBG blending voluntary till 2024-25, and mandatory blending obligation would start from 25-26. अब 1% अगर हम सस्टेनेबल एविएशन फ्यूल में एथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग करते हैं तो कितना 14 करोड़ लीटर हमें चाहिए, और 2% करते हैं then etc. So this is again work which is taking place. Biofuels Alliance के बारे I'll just take a minute or so before I wind up. This was a alliance launched when the Honorable Prime Minister was presiding over G20. Other countries are joining in, more countries are joining in. I think if you have what, 14 countries and 12 international, 22 countries and 12 international organizations. Now their number is growing up. The activities are increasing. We have a interim committee to manage it, and I think with biofuels succeeding in India, already successful in Brazil and the US, we are slowly but surely heading in the direction of, through the Global Biofuels Alliance, of biofuels acceptance as a traded commodity. That's the direction in which we are wanting to take this. Natural gas sector, lot of steps to increase our share of natural gas from 6.3% to 15% in the primary energy mix. We are expecting an investment of up to 67 billion by the next 5 to 6 years. This 67% breakup we will share with you when these statistics are shared with you. This will translate into an increase in the gas consumption by over threefold from the present level of 155 MMSCMD to over 500 MMSCMD by the year 2030, which is a massive threefold increase. I am now final part of my statistics. If you look at the number of CGD networks we had for gas 2014 में और 2023 में, पहले 53 थे, आज 300 है. कहाँ 53 और कहाँ 300? PNG connections were 25.4 lakhs, today it's 1.25 crore. Number of CNG stations was 738 in 2014, today it's 6,088. CGD coverage population wise was 13.27% in 2014, today it's 98%. CGD coverage area wise was 5.58%, today it's 88%. And we have now taken it with the new rounds of bidding in gas, etc., over 100%, and we are even going into the island territories. आप इसके 2030 के टारगेट देख लीजिए. आई थिंक वन थिंग दैट विल स्टैंड आउट, 2014 में हमने कहाँ शुरुआत की, 2023 में क्या, दोस टारगेट्स लुक सो मॉडेस्ट नाउ. हम लाइक CGD नेटवर्क्स 2014 में 53 थे, आज 300 है. हमारा टारगेट 2030 का 309 है. वी डोंट नीड टू वेट टिल 2030, पहले ही हो जाएगा. आपका जो PNG कनेक्शंस है 1.25 crore to 12.50 crores as the pipeline is moved from 14,000 kilometers to 22,000 and is going up to 32,000 by 2030. अपने आप हो जाएगा उसके साथ. Number of CNG stations has gone up from 738 to 6,088 and our target is 17,706. Again, I see this happening in the normal course. CGD coverage population-wise 13.27% in 2014, 98% in 2023. We got 100% by 2030. You don't need to wait even till the end of 2024. ये वैसे हो जाएगा. So I'm now going to just conclude by saying the recent launch of the 12th CGD bidding round will cover the balance portion of the coverage area, and I'm concluding on net zero because हमने अवेलेबिलिटी की बात की. आपको कहीं भी दुनिया में, देश में पिछले साल में कमी नहीं पड़ी. और कल भी जो हुआ उसकी कारण, उसकी कॉजेशन कहीं और थी. बट आई वांट टू गिव फुल मार्क्स टू माय OMCs. उन्होंने जहाँ भी कमियां हुई हैं, in spite of the constraint, they worked overtime, worked out local solutions, and I think I'm reasonably confident that जहाँ पर भी aviation fuel की कमी थी वो तो आज सुबह ही ठीक हो गई थी, और बाकी जगह भी जहाँ पे गैस की होगी, I think we are all well on the way to that. पर नेट जीरो में कभी-कभी जब मुझे मौका मिलता है बाहर जाने के लिए फॉर इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, नेट जीरो की बात होती है. देखिए, जब माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने नेट जीरो का टारगेट बताया था, आई केप्ट टेलिंग देन दैट दिस इज द इंडिकेशन ऑफ अ वेरी मैच्योर decision, because our challenges are very different from other countries, but the companies which are participating in this sector, I am going to name my OMCs, इनका क्या टारगेट है? 2070 is a net zero target for the country, but EIL 2035, ONGC 2038, GAIL 2040, BPCL 2040, HPCL 2040, Oil India Limited 2040, IOCL 2046. That is very remarkable, considering where we started, where we are. Therefore, on all 3 points of that trilemma, availability, affordability, and sustainability, we were doing extremely well, but none of it is at the cost of the green transition. And that is what really gives me a degree of satisfaction.
As we progress into the new year, are we going forward, since fuel prices have also come down? Looking at domestic market, are we expecting price cuts, as there are also media reports that price cuts are going to be announced? So what's the update on that?
Now let me start by wishing all a very happy new year. First of all these media reports were not only speculative,